Hi, and welcome to Business 525. This is just a short tutorial to show you how to get access to both the IBIS world and to gain access as needed to the Market Line Advantage reports. There are PDF versions of them on our website, but it's helpful to know how to get there. You can get the most current information, and given the crisis, they may be updating more commonly than normal. So the first thing you want to do is come up on the internet to the campus tab here, come down to library, go out to the library, and over here on the left you'll see this little computer for databases. This is probably very familiar to some of you. I make the search a little easier to find by just clicking on subjects and selecting business. There's several different sources that you can make use of, and I'm not at all discouraging that. I'm just letting you know we make use of IBIS Market Line Advantage in this course, and I believe you've gotten and seen the reports from each. So if I want information on a company, you can see if you hover over this little information tab, it'll show you what this is best for, and it's really best for company information. So if I were to click on Market Line and start to go out to that database, may take a bit of time. Sometimes it might ask me to re-log in. That login information would be just exactly like I was logging in to the Roberts Intranet, but eventually it usually does open. When it does open, I can now go in and I can start trying to search. I could do that by keyword. What I typically do is I come up here at the top and I click on companies. And then I am looking for, in this case, Disney. And so the keyword that I'm looking for over here on the left is Disney. And I'll start that search. If at first a search doesn't work, try it again. Sometimes this database can be a little finicky, and particularly working from home right now, I've had a little more difficulty getting into it. But you see I've got Disney Cruise Line, I've got the Walt Disney Company, which is the parent company that I'd want. And if I click on that company that I want, it'll pull up the company's report that I can navigate through now digitally. Over here is where it was exported as a PDF, over on the right top where you see my cursor moving, and you can also download it as a Word document, but it's sometimes easier if you can work through it right online. You'll see that they've got some deals in place. You can see that they've done a SWOT analysis for you. And so you can begin to look at that relevant information. You can navigate over here on the left hand is probably an easy way to do that. Key locations, subsidiaries. You see the SWOT analysis that's done here. What I like to tell all my students is that SWOT analysis is done by people who are paid to work in this industry. Their information, their opinions are more important than ours, but that doesn't make them perfect or right. So you might find things to supplement, or you might find some areas that you disagree with the analyst, but know that when you start here, you start with information, again, from professionals that are paid to study this industry and to study and understand this company. So the other database that we wanted to take a look at, we looked at Market Line, which is great for company reports, is this IBIS World, which is more industry focused. It has some things about specific companies, but its primary purpose is to help us understand an entire industry. So if we clicked on that, it'll open up again in a new window, and we'll take a look at that when it's done loading in just a moment. All right, so I may not know the key industry. In fact, many complex companies like the ones we study in the MSL degree are really in multiple industries. I don't have memorized codes for industries, but I can remember that we're studying Disney, so I can type them in. And as I do, what I start to see is related industries, cable networks in the US, amusement parks, which is a big part of what Disney does. We easily could have pulled that report to understand an important facet of all that is Disney. Intellectual property licensing, because they license both caricatures and their movies, but then amusement parks just in Florida, and we can view more results. And so when we started looking at other industries, just to give an idea of industries that are really connected to this one company, whether it's cable networks because they own ESPN, for example, as well as the Disney Channel. You'll see some of the mention up here. I often look for where the company's listed as a major player. They're a major player in amusement parks, water parks. Turns out that they are in intellectual property licensing. They are in specifically amusement parks in Florida, arts, entertainment, recreation. But the one that you have been given is movie and video production in the US. And I can't comment fully on why that is the best of the industries and selected for you guys. What I can say is for this class, we'll use just this industry report. But I want you to understand, to do a really good, thorough research job, you would want to understand multiple industries that this company participates in, because they're a complex, very large company. They cut across multiple industries, and this just gives you a test for how wide the range of things that Disney's involved in. But for our purposes and for our classes, we're going to stick to the one that you were given. That means focused right here on movie and video production, particularly here in the US. So the more global the organization, the less we're capturing all of what they do. But Disney's production is done very heavily here in North America and particularly in the US. And so you again can click on this report to get access to it digitally. To be honest, I really like the way the IBIS World sets up its reports more than MarketLine Advantage, but it works fairly similarly in that you've got this table of contents that you can navigate around. So if you want to understand the definition of the industry, the supply chain, industry jargon, if some of it's unfamiliar to you, and you can kind of scroll through each of those pieces, and you'll see over here it's highlighting where I get to as I pass one section and get into another. And when I've completed a whole drop-down menu section, and I'm really ready to now go on to the next drop-down, this industry at a glance, I've got a little option to also do it over here, and I can click on industry at a glance there, or I can come over and I can utilize this drop-down menu to go and look at things like key statistics and trends. And again, you see a SWOT analysis for the industry. Keep in mind, MarketLine gave us information on the company. The SWOT analysis was for Disney in particular. This SWOT analysis is not for Disney in particular. It's for the entire industry. What makes the industry strong or weak relative to other industries? And you're going to be asked to really focus on even broader than an industry in the general environment through pest or step or steep analysis if we add ecology into it. But industry analysis is another big key factor that we look at in this class. And so this external analysis, understanding what's true of the whole industry, some of that will be also mirrored in a particular company in the industry like Disney. Some of it will be distinct from what's true of a particular company like Disney in the industry. So we'll look at this report, and I'll expect you to make use of it as one of the key resources of your research. So finally, just want to say thanks for sticking with me for 10 minutes, kind of getting a sense for how you can access these besides just the PDF files, because they are updated regularly usually quarterly, but with what's going on, or annually at the minimum. With what's going on in the world, it's possible that there'll be important news happening right during our class and events that shape and impact the industry and the company. Thanks.